Hey guys, just a quick video about using the Steam Performance Overlay to get the best performance out of your game without focusing so much on pure FPS numbers, but the quality of those frames you're getting. I'll have a instruction on how to set up Steam Performance Overlay at the end. Right, so up the top we've got FG, which matches what the in-game counter, the green one on the right, saying 144, frame gen saying 144, so I've got frame gen turned on. Now FPS is your base, so that's a rendered frames, not generated frames. That's what actually your graphic card is rendering. And then it's got a high and low for that rendered frames, and then it's got CPU usage graph, and then it's got a graph of the different cores showing, and because I've got a 9950 X3D, I've got dual CCD, and that shows that the game is running all on the CCD 0, which has the 3D cache. So that's the first half of the graph. And it's got a temperature, and then it's got clock speed, and it's got GPU usage, and then it's got temperature of GPU, and it's got your VRAM, and then it's got RAM. So yeah, I've got a 9950 X3D, I've got a 5080, and I've got 32 megabytes of RAM running at 6000. So when I upgraded this PC a week ago from a 4070 Ti Super and a i5 14600, and when I got it, I went, hell yep, give me some of those delicious frames, and also went to 4K. So I got a 4K monitor and decided that this game is so stunningly beautiful, I really want to see what it looks like in 4K. So I went to my settings, and graphics, and then I went everything epic, give me all of that goodness, and then I went to DLSS, give me 4 times frames, I want many of those frames possible, and I want a DLAA. And the only thing I really turned down was variable rate shading. So yep, 144 frames, delicious, smooth as, looks fantastic. It's coming up daytime, it'll start getting light soon, but as this game is stunning, and in 4K it's absolutely stunning. I then started noticing, I played for a couple of weeks, then started noticing that I was getting almost like I was playing at low frame rate in especially Tiger Bay and Fort Narrows, but not Sapphire to some extent as well. But just, you know, like you have that jaggedy feel about it, and that's what it kind of felt like, and I could not figure out why. Now I was looking at my GPU usage, and you'll see that it's running at 80%, so it's leaving 20% of that graphics card behind, which is not great. So then I saw a thing about the Steam overlay, and what I liked was that it showed your generated frames and your rendered frames as separate figures, because every other utility I've used has just been, it shows your total frames, and it's a little bit deceiving. So it's a bit worrying that I've only got 36 rendered frames and the rest are generated. And I was like, well, I thought that graphics card would do a little bit better than that. So I went into, started playing around with graphics and different settings. Now if I go to 4 times, so at the moment I've got 144 and 36, turn that to apply. Now I've got 141 and 47, 48. So it's starting to get a little bit better. And I was going, well, that's kind of strange. So let's go a little bit further. And I went to 2 times. Right, and then now I've got 96 and 50. I'll say 150. So 100 generated frames, well, it's basically 50 generated frames, isn't it? So it's 50 rendered frames and 50 generated frames. It still feels pretty good. And I think what's happening is that I'll even go further. Well, I just turn frame view off. Excuse me. So now I'm getting 54, and sometimes it'll settle up to 50, 56 real frames. It's starting to get that slightly bit of jaggedness to about it. So, and it can be more extreme in that. And like, it seems to be that it's for it to do frame generation, it's dropping off real frames so it can generate frames, which is kind of backwards. Now you also see that my GPU now is at 100%. So I'm not sure what the hell's going on, but it looks like it's cutting back on, maybe that there's a separate chip that handles the generation or the AI part of the generation, and that can't keep up with the main GPU, so it's dropping the main GPU back so it can keep up. I don't know, but it's weird. So what I decided, and I was going, well, I love this game in 4K. I mean, it's stunning. This game has to be one of the most beautiful games around. I've really wanted for it to keep playing 4K, and there's no way I'm going to find a 5090, right? I think I just can't really afford it, and it's probably just stupidly overpowered. Now, the other side of it is that this game is new. It's only a year old. It's not finished. They're doing some great leaps with optimization, and even the next patch, which it's coming 0.3.5 is hopefully coming in the next week or two. I tested on that, and with my old rig I was getting a fair bit more performance, so I'm hoping that we'll get a bit more performance, which will give me some more rendered frames, because to me the rendered frames are the skeleton of what the generated frames are built on. So the more of a skeleton you've got, that's got to be better, right? I'd much rather that, as far as frame gen goes, they didn't really have 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. They had 4 levels, and then they basically kept the rendered frames static, so you're not ending up dropping those back just to get more frame gen. But they kept those static, and then if, say, 1 times gave you kind of doublish frames, and 2 times gave you 2 and a bit frames extra, and then 3 times gave you 2.5 frames, or, you know, whatever. There's different scales, so they didn't. I think that 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times is a big marketing thing. But they could have just had 4 levels, and you don't get 4 times. Obviously, you just get a slightly better frame rate, and then the only difference you will be getting is a slightly bit more input lag. But if you leave those rendered frames alone, that has to be a better way of doing it. Anyway, so I started having to play with, I wanted like 63 frames. It's kind of smooth. It's not bad, but I know by ADS it's going to drop down and get a little bit jaggedy. So I wanted to smooth some of that out. Now, I'm not against frame gen for sure. I just think we've got to be aware of what it's doing and how it's achieving what it's doing. So I started, now go to graphics, and then I just put a little bit of the first level of frame gen on. So I don't go to auto because that'll just decide that you need heaps. And then I went to 2 times. So now I'm getting 100 frames off a base of 50. So it's creating 2 frames. Well, it's creating 1 frame for every frame. And it feels smooth. When I ADS, I'm down to 70 frames generated. But so it's taking some of that smoothness out. And I feel like that's kind of where I want it. The other thing we can play with is the super resolution, sorry. I mean, we could go to quality. Still looks pretty good. It's a little bit less sharp. Maybe we can fix that with some sharpness. Now we're getting 130-ish off high 60s, and that in about ADS I'm down to 46 and 94, and that feels good. And hopefully it'll also give you a bit of buffer when you go into a place that is more demanding like Tiger Bay or Port Narroth. Then it'll just smooth that out, and I think that's what you want to do. Like, having stupid frames is good if you're not losing real frames. So if it was like, if I was getting 60 frames and then I put 4 times on and I still had 60 rendered frames and 4 times that, so 240, right, 240 frames, but it left the other frames alone, then that would be good. But I probably wouldn't need to, well, I wouldn't need 240 frames. I've only got a 144 hertz monitor, so it's just wasting it. So what we'll do, we'll just jump on a heli and we'll go somewhere for a bit of a look-see.
Raven, wheels up for base camp.
It's a shame. Oh, that's what I was going to do, is play some sharpness while I'm waiting. So FX sharpening, so hard out. Colours look pretty good. We need the sun to come up so we can actually see. But I'm guessing most of you guys are playing Grey Zone, that's why you've come to have a look. If you haven't, you should. This game is wicked. For me personally, was never a big first-person shooter player. I played DayZ for about, I've probably got about 1,000, 1,200 hours racked up in DayZ. But once I got hooked into this and got over this reasonably steep learning curve, but it's not unbearable. I love it. I think I've got close to 2,000 hours now in this game. I've played a lot. I've got a ridiculously good group of mates who play, that we hang out and play and have a good time. We only play PvE because I just can't be bothered with the PvP thing, but this game is in depth enough. As far as a PvE first-person shooter, this game is right up there from what footage I've seen of other games. It's fully immersive, it's open world, you don't have to do anything, you can go and do what you want, you can just go and run around and have some mayhem, or you can go and there's a whole lot of tasks with a very cool developing storyline that you can get immersed in. It's very immersive, it's no third person. You get to places by helicopters. Everything's kind of stays as it is, so it's just got a really nice immersive feel. It is a great game to play with a few mates, to run around and work together and sort of cooperate as a team. Like, it's very based around squads, little mini squads of 4 at this stage. It's just a cool game. So if you haven't played it before, jump in. You will. Well, you may be disappointed, to be fair. I'm fairly biased about this game, but you give it a trial anyway and see. And then the other really cool thing about the game is the community is superb. Like, people will help out. They'll get you started. You just need to ask for help at base, and people can come and give you some pointers and get you started and probably come along for a ride. There's plenty of high-level dudes that are always out to help guys come and get into the game. So yeah, anyway, enough of advertising the game. This game is awesome. So yeah, now we're getting 124 frames, base frames of 60. and that's bearable. Now this, even in HQ here, I was getting some sort of flickering. That every time I've tested it since with these settings, it seems to be a lot better and feels better. It feels like 130 frames, whereas before I don't think having 180 or 200 frames actually felt like anything more. It just felt like it was smooth. That was it. And then once your base frames drop below a certain level, then because your GPU is generating on frames that are not that many of them, then it became just like a super not a super exaggerated, but it just felt like you were playing at 30-40 frames, but your frame counter was saying you're playing at 140 frames. Now, I'm not a streamer. I do put some videos up, so I'm probably gonna... Oh, there's someone else in there anyway, I think. There's probably... I think I can't talk and play at the same time. I will struggle doing this, but let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can find this guy. So, the upgrade zone has night cycles. It's persistent. The servers are persistent to some extent. Your characters are persistent in the server. It's a very cool game. But yeah, I was definitely having flickery issues here. Just... Hello. And now I have one little lag spike there, but that's bearable. It's Tiger Bay's much better than what it was. And if I head in here, there are going to be people here. No, there's one. So yeah, I think using Steam, the Steam performance overlay is really good. Now I know Steam overlays get a bad rap for performance, but if you're using it just to set your game up, and then once you're happy with your settings, then turn it off, then I think it's a good way of using it, to be fair. Yeah. What I do, no, they're all dead in here, so what I do, it's definitely running very smooth. A little bit of hiccup in here and there, but much better than, it looked much better than what it did when I last come in here. So I'm pretty happy. I don't think frame gen's a bad thing. I just feel a little bit like they've been a little bit inventive about the whole 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times thing. That might change with further updates maybe, but I kind of feel like they've gone, yeah, we've got 4 times frame gen, but we're not going to tell you that we're going to drop your base frames down so we can get that 4 times. It's a little bit, but you know, that's what companies do. No need to sell their stuff. And I'm super happy I got the 5080. It's like in 1440, this made a huge difference to what this game was for me when I had a 4070 Ti Super, so it's a big jump up from that. I just think once this game gets more and more optimization, and hopefully NVIDIA do change the way they, with some BIOS updates, so they change the way that they decide to render frames or something, whether they can do that or not, I'm not sure. But anyway, what I'll do is save from here, so I'll see if I can do this. So yeah, so in your Steam settings, all you do is you go down to in-game, and then you go to show performance monitor, and you can choose where you put it. So you can change that around. I like it at the top. You can put a key for turning it on and off. you've got a performance detail level. Now this one has 4 levels. It's not as in depth as Afterburner, but it gives you what you need, I feel, in a better way. Like I think I said, Afterburner probably will be able to show this, but this thing just shows you straight off the bat. So you've got single value, so single value is just your FPS, and then you've got, so that actually just out of interest, yeah, so that's just your normal, your total FPS, and you've got FPS details, and then that just shows you your total FPS and the high and the low. And then you've got FPS details, CPU and GPU, and same thing, but it's got CPU and GPU, just usage. And then if you go to full details, then it shows all of the stuff. So, really good tool. Hope this has helped, and hopefully it's opened your eyes to maybe why you ain't getting full utilization out of your GPU, and help you maybe get rid of some of those little weirdness frame gen issues that you did or did not know you had. So anyway, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you. Okay, so just an end note, I didn't know if I was getting much bigger discrepancy between the base frame gem numbers, and what it is seems to be when you're using super resolution, anything other than DLAA. Guess that's to do with upscaling and frame gen, I don't know, something. But if I go to graphics, so at the moment I'm getting 144 and 36, and I'm on quality and 4 times, but then if I go down to 2 times, 10 of that, I'm getting 122 and 61. Yeah, so it does seem to be more difference as you change your super resolution. Anyway, okay, just a side note. Cheers dudes, see ya.